Hello, everybody. Welcome to another daily dose of gaming news and all that good stuff. And as always, I also publish on Rumble and on Patreon for extra support. Any kind of updates and the such, I usually go about on Twitter X. Yesterday, I did manage to publish Firewatch episode, and tomorrow will be the last episode of this series. We will conclude the game there, and afterwards is going to be Planet of Lana, and then eventually, if not mistaken, it's going to be the next game that I'm still recording, which is Jusant. Very interesting game. Also, a lot of exploration and the such, with some climbing mechanics that are interesting there. Just a quick reminder: got 4K gameplay series completed and 1080p, which are the older ones before I did the break because I moved out of the country. But yeah, everything is here on the main page of the channel. Not much happening in terms of news, at least that I caught on. I watched some stuff on Twitter and some subjects that I watched on Twitter and some YouTube videos, but I completely forgot to prepare, not prepare, I completely forgot which subjects I wanted to tackle a little bit here. So I think this is going to be a little bit shorter episode than usual. But yeah, we got a little bit more hints and information regarding the RDNA series GPUs, and it seems that you will need UEFI mode to take full advantage of this new architecture. Again, this is the BIOS. Because on BIOS we are already been using UEFI for I don't know how many years now. I don't remember if the older PC system that I had, I think it was already UEFI, but there are the legacy modes, which is like the older ones, which you have like a black screen with, again, very basic stuff. And I think, again, it's a shame that it doesn't support the legacy BIOS system. But again, this is so old, and I don't think there is any kind of extra advantages of still using legacy mode. Again, for sure, there are going to be people that are still using very old hardware to play their games or something like that. I don't know, even like a second PC to do, I don't know, extra processing power, for example, for streaming and the such. I think those older systems might be still relevant on using, and in those cases, and probably even for I don't know, recording, taking advantage of the media encoders of the GPUs. If you again, but again, this kind of GPUs is $600 to put it in an older system just to do some extra loading stuff there that you're not using on your main PC. I think it's a little bit overkill. I think lower end GPUs might be able to do, so, for example, the recording from consoles or for streaming. I think these older systems, again, are not suited to put just this kind of powerful GPU. But again, and the fact that the UEFI mode on this BIOS here, again, they need to be on this mode to take advantage a lot with the resizable bar, which is a smart access memory naming scheme for AMD. And again, and the fact that UEFI on older BIOSes, you cannot have, in terms of, sorry, hard drives greater than 2.2 terabytes. So that's a thing there. And again, better security overall, even in terms of firmware updates on the BIOS stuff there. Usually, this new UEFI BIOSes, again, are way better. At least, again, I've been tweaking around and playing around with PCs for 20 plus years. So there is a huge difference of what you can do now on the BIOSes and how you can export and all the tweaks and all the safety features and even stability improvements and what you can do there on the BIOS system. It's way better than before. But yeah, it's just a warning. If you have a very old that still uses legacy mode BIOS system, again, you will not take advantage of the full spectrum of technologies that RDNA 4 will bring, especially resizable bar and the such. But it doesn't mean that it doesn't work. But again, you will not be able to take advantage of the full spectrum of features of the RDNA 4. Again, it's not that something like NVIDIA kind of a thing, not supporting, stop supporting the framework from CUDA in 32 bits. But again, it's one of those things that you might need to pay attention if you're thinking about on an older system buying a new GPU. On the NVIDIA side, similarly, we're going to continue with no stock or paper launches or shit show launches from the 5000 series. This comes with information regarding a Swedish large retailer. I think at the size comparatively like Micro Centers and Amazon's, but specifically in Sweden. They are not doing any kind of pre-orders or anything of the 5070 non-TI because they don't have any in stock, and they are again they are not expecting any, uh, which it shows that yeah, Nvidia just fumbled this launch in a big way with a lot of poo-poos from the missing ROMs, which is the most crucial one because it's a hardware failure. And if you're not paying attention, you don't even notice that hardware is not working properly. If there is the case of getting a GPU with these missing ROMs, there is some rumblings that this might have to do the fact of even more lack of stock is the fact that there are more missing ROM GPUs or GPUs with missing ROMs than initially reported from NVIDIA, which they said was around half a percentage of a batch of GPUs that came out with those missing ROMs. But again, I don't believe them in any way on their face value because again, when this thing with the missing ROMs started happening on the internet, they were very quick to respond and figuring out it was only half a percentage of a batch of GPUs chips that were missing those ROMs, and at the time they just hide the fact that the 5080s were not affected, but then we start seeing the 5080s with missing ROMs again. Plus all the thing with the, as I mentioned earlier, with the CUDA 32-bit framework, they're not being supported on this 5000 series. No no stock. MSRP is non-existent. Basically, we can take it as a word. Almost all of GPUs are basically almost a double of pricing of the supposed MSRP, which is swell, let's say. But yeah, similarly, 5070, at least on Sweden, doesn't seem to have any kind of stock to launch in a couple of days or so. So yeah, it's not good news here. And then continue with this unmitigated disaster from the 5000 series. MSI basically doesn't have MSRP cards. They just in their own store just ramp up the prices of all the GPUs, even the ones that were previously out on the MSRP from NVIDIA. But the fact that NVIDIA is not launching any Founders Edition for the 5070 Ti, again, basically no AIBs have kind of a anchor point on having always a GPU on that MSRP to try and compete with that price. But it comes a little bit here. I think this is the foreshadowing of the EVGA situation, the fact that they're being treated not so good with NVIDIA as a partner. And basically this kind of back and forths with this kind of MSRPs. And in fact, I think they were screwed to a certain extent with the, for example, with the missing ROPs. Even though again, even with AIBs, I think if they don't have, they should have any kind of Q&A system that detects if there is any kind of hardware defect. But I will assume that they to a certain extent they were fooled by Nvidia with this launch, and this is their way to try and get some of it back. Again, one of the things that I think is increasing a lot, and it was talked about before the launch of the RTX 5000 series, is the fact that I don't see, especially on the lower end of GPUs like 5080s and below, having this kind of high new GDDR7 memory. imbued it on this graphics cards. I don't see an advantage to it because cannot, by any extent, run out of the memory bus on the chips themselves, which is something interesting. And I think it's basically just inflating the prices. Maybe Nvidia did manage to get a good price on those GDR7s, but I think it could lower the price a little bit more if they, even on the lower end, at only GDDR6 or 6X or something like that, to try and, I don't know, because we got this new the RDNA 4s only come with the GDR6, not even 6X, and I still think they don't fully run out of the memory bus there, and the memory speeds are more well enough than to handle all that GPU processing power, especially on the RDNA 4. And again, there is a lot of I'm not even sure if NVIDIA did manage to, when they did the chip for the RTX 5000, maybe we might discover that it is incompatible with the GDR7. If the memory chips are older than GDR7, I don't know. Again, it's one of those things we will never know, probably. But yeah, the fact that again, no MSRPs, missing ROPs, no stock. Even if you want to, if you have enough money to buy those GPUs here, the performance uplift in terms of generation to generation is basically non-existent. Again, it's a shit show of a launch, plus all the quality issues in terms of even hardware, software, the black screens, the PCI interface connection between motherboards and GPUs were giving a lot of issues, and I still think that they are still doing that. Then we got the burnt cables from a lot of 5090s, the cable gate situation there. Again, this is all over the place. And I think people are starting to get a little bit fed up with all the hype and all the jazz. And I think AMD might, again, AMD just need to keep at least MSRP, at least models from MSRP, and to start overthink a little bit of market share, hopefully. And hopefully the first party numbers are indeed the average of the performance that they are showing us, and hopefully the FSR4 is that good as has been tried to hyped, and in terms of uplifting quality of the upscaling there. But yeah, I think also regarding this, just going here, if you see when the launch of the RDNA 4 comes out, and you basically after not even a day you see everything sold out. Again, even that doesn't mean that they didn't have stock. Again, it comes about the fact that again people might not have enough money, and even if they have money to buy those 5000 series from Nvidia, there is no stock for it. If people that want to get some decent GPU with a good performance, probably now they are waiting for the RDNA 4. And again, we'll have to assume that this is going to run out of stock very quickly. And if the 9070s, as Hardware Box says here on the tweet, are sold out shortly after release, it will mean retailers will have sold more 9070 XTs than all the GeForce 50 series GPU combined, and this includes RTX 5070 stock. So you have an idea how badly this paper launch of Nvidia was, or is still going. But yeah, from hardware, this is what I got. In terms of games, got a couple of stuff here. Got a new trailer for the Relic, the first Guardian. It's kind of a Soulslike section RPG. It's coming out supposedly this year. I think already covered one or two articles a few months ago regarding this. Again, the game was first announced 2021. Supposedly at the time that was announced, it was to be a multiplayer, but then it changed again. It seems that Eastern studios and markets can read the room pretty quickly, even because 2021 was still at the time of the lockdowns and such, or phase. Depend on the countries. There were some of them were starting phasing out that part of the lockdowns, but yeah, we were still around a little bit on that phase there. And I think a lot of Eastern studios start to see the writing in the room, and they just, as happened also with the upcoming game Crimson Desert, which at the time was supposed to be a multiplayer game, kind of a spiritual successor from Black Desert or something like that. I don't remember it's the same studio, but yeah, a lot of them just pick and said, no, we're going to put out, try to get a good single player experience here. Again, action RPG. Everybody's comparing to Souls-like kind of a gameplay there. This trailer again seems interesting. A lot of muted colors, which usually I don't like too much. I think it. I don't know. I don't know if it is the art style again. We only see segments of certain parts of the combat. The combat seems pretty good, but only by playing it we will know for sure how well it feels or not. It's kind of not open world in a sense; it's more linear in that aspect. But yeah, it seems pretty good. We'll have to wait and see more information like gameplay in game gameplay. Sorry, not trailers. Trailers are good to have an idea of the tone of the game. I think we will need some gameplay videos here, like first 10 minutes or 15 minutes, to have a sense of how the game might feel. And again, it's always good if they manage to get around and publish a demo shortly before the game comes out, so people can try out the game itself. But yeah, we've been seeing a lot of Eastern studios from Chinese. This one is South Korean. Japanese studios, not all of them, but a lot of Japanese studios trying out new stuff. And again, this is like very medieval, European medieval kind of style game. So they are influenced from Western folklore and culture from, in this case, of medieval times, which is something that, again, there is still a lot of stuff to be explored there. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see how good or not this game will be when it comes out. And then lastly, just Monster Hunter Wilds, again, top sales, again, sold 8 million copies in 3 days, in the first 3 days, which is insane to a certain extent because this is the fastest title that Capcom ever managed to pull out in terms of sales ever. Um, the reviews seem to improve a little bit here. I think there are some mods. I will assume some on the Steam Workshop. You might install some mods there that supposedly can improve a little bit the performance here and there. Might help in some cases. Again, it improved a little bit in terms of the reviews and the feedbacks. But yeah, I think there is a huge issue still with PC performance on the hardware. Again, I think it's a construction, and I will continue to, as long as I don't see anything on the contrary. I think it's the fact that the engine itself was made from the ground up, not with open world games very much in mind, and that leads already from the start these games being a little bit not well optimized. In fact, again, Monster Hunter Wilds of the Monster Hunter team. I think this is the first time working with this engine again. Until more studios start working on these engines and try to figure out how they can improve for their own game, and then get the feedback and get some I don't know communication with the engineers of the To the Moon engine, and try to improve certain aspects of the engine itself. Maybe we will see in the upcoming months some overall upgrade on the engine itself for upcoming games that where they can be more optimized for the hardware that exists for now. But yeah, plus that the lack of inexperience of the team working with this engine, being that it is the first time, I will assume. Again, it's a shame because again, in terms of all the gameplay systems, everything, the art style, it seems pretty good. Gameplay systems are improved from previous games, from what I understand. It's just a matter of people. The main complaint and concern is the lack of optimization, especially on the PC platform. But yeah, at least it's good to see, to give a sign that okay, you sold 8 million copies in 3 days. The game is pretty good. Just optimize the hell out of this game. so more people can, even more people can enjoy. I think that's the main message they should receive, and not receive as, okay, this is a slop, but whatever, people are buying it, will continue like this. But then again, Monster Hunter Wilds, it will continue to launch updates in terms of content, and I think they will be working in parallel with the launching all the content and the DLCs and the monsters and everything. I think they are. I will assume that in parallel they will be working on optimizing even more this game to improve again the fluidity of the game play itself there, because it only improves the experience for everybody. But yeah, this is what I got for today. I'm going for some gaming deals. We got Observer System Redux, 70% off here. We got the Plague Tale game. The two games are on sale. We got Plague Tale Requiem, 60% off, or the bundle, 65% off. The Plague Tale Innocence is also on sale by itself, if you want to buy it alone. We got Aliens Dark Descent, 55% off. We got Jagged Alliance free. This is a new one, coming in 50% off. Again, this is from the same guys that worked on the original mainline Jagged Alliance game. So I think, again, very positive feedback here. We got Dredge, 50% off. We got the Long Dark. We got several options here, 50% off basically in almost all of them. We got Liza P, 40% off again. Then we got the deluxe editions and all that jazz. Also, if you want to spend the extra money. We got Pacific Drive. The deluxe edition is 40% off. We got Sharkpunk, 40% off. I did manage to play the demo on this game. I think I already published the gameplay of this one, and I think it's a very interesting one. And if you want to try it for yourself, we got a demo here, which is always good to see. Then you got Planet of Lana, upcoming a gaming series that I will make, and I do recommend this game, especially at this price point. Again, 50% off, very interesting experience on the puzzling side of things and even on the storytelling. And then last we got Slay the Spire. Again, this is one of those games that if you like the roguelike deck builders, again, this is the game for you. It's kind of almost not the OG, but it's one of those that, again, everybody likes to play. Very in-depth mechanics here, and very difficult and frustrating sometimes, depends on the run. But yeah, 66% off. Again, yeah, I don't think, yeah, that there is no extra stuff there. It's just a complete experience here. But yeah, I'll wrap up here for today with a plug on my Patreon for extra support. The extra support is more in line for me to try and get a better storage solution so I can have backups of the stuff that I do for my clients. And of course, some extra space for the videos that I make for the channel. And with all that said, I hope you have a wonderful day. I will see you in the next one. So until then, Kunamy Master out.